637, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Senator Marsha Blackburn is scheduled to be here in just a couple of minutes for a quick visit. I do find this interesting. I wonder if this will pass constitutional muster. You know, cruel and unusual punishment and all that, not allowed to do that. But Marco Rubio, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, saying El Salvador has made the extraordinary offer to U.S. to the U.S. regarding deportees, including American citizens. They're saying that, you know what? You got violent illegal alien criminals or even violent American criminals that are imprisoned in America. Now he says the president of El Salvador has agreed to the most unprecedented, extraordinary. Oh, is she here? She's all right. Well, maybe I'll ask the senator about this story.
I think you should.
You know what? This is actually a great story. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. You know what they do? You know how this works, Joan. Like they have to patch her through.
Yeah.
She's got to go through like an intermediary. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is hosts like me who are woefully unprepared then have to sit here and do things like this for minutes at a time.
Tap dance.
You know, I took tap dancing lessons when I was a kid. Did I ever tell you about that?
You did not.
I did. I took tap dancing lessons when I was a kid. I actually.
For how long?
You know what? I only lasted about, nobody cares because Senator Marsha Blackburn, who I'm positive Senator Marsha Blackburn does not care that I took tap dancing lessons as a kid. Hello, Senator.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. So you've got a lot going on. I want to, first of all, I thought that Kash Patel did very good as he was going through his Senate confirmation hearings. I want to play a little audio bite. This, of course, you and Dick Durbin, and this is audio that has certainly made the rounds regarding the Epstein client list.
I had raised the issue with Chairman Durbin. I had raised it on the floor that we wanted to get these records. And then during that hearing that you're mentioning, I sought recognition. It was not my Republican colleagues that ended that hearing. Mr. Chairman, you had the gavel and you were the chairman and you sought not to recognize me. And I know, and you know, and so many people are aware, sir, that you and Christopher Wray did not want those out. And I know we need to move on for questions, but Mr. Chairman, we have fought this issue for quite some time. I look forward to having an FBI that will work to help get these records and end this human and sex trafficking in this country.
I mean, I got to ask, Senator, what are they trying to hide? And do you think Kash Patel is that guy to get that done?
Oh, I do think Kash Patel is going to get this done. And I thought it was just absolutely so interesting that Senator Durbin, again, tried to refute that he had never been asked to release those files on Jeffrey Epstein. So I put the clip back up on social media that showed in that hearing how he refused to grant me the recognition and call the vote. And here's the thing, Dan. He could have done that because we were issuing subpoenas for needed information at that point. We never went back to considering subpoenas for issue from the Judiciary Committee. And I think it was because they did not want to have to fight the Jeffrey Epstein issue again. It is obvious that they are trying to block it. They are trying to hide something. I don't know what it is they know, but here is what I do know. Human trafficking and this sex slavery that is happening in this country, much of it is tied to the cartels. We also know that there is a global network. It is a $150 billion a year trade. And there are so many women and children that are losing their ability to have a life because they've become ensnared in this modern day slavery. And this is why we have groups all across our state that are trying to work with these victims. They're trying to rescue these women and children that have been ensnared in this. We know that Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang that has been active in Tennessee, that they are primarily involved in this. And I am determined that we are going to end this and that we're going to stop it in our country, which will help in putting an end to it globally.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is down at the border. I think he's down there today. I know that there's been a big story here in the last couple of days, him going down to the border. I think it's huge. One of the things that clearly President Trump is doing and doing right is cutting illegal immigration, closing the border, ending catch and release, mass deportation, all of those things. I know that you and Senator Bill Hagerty walked Pete Hegseth into his confirmation hearings. Are you satisfied? Number one, tell me about that day, because I'm just curious. I'm always fascinated about the behind the scenes stuff. So, number one, was he nervous walking in? And number two, how do you think he did during his Senate confirmation hearings? Obviously, he did well because he got confirmed. And how do you think he's doing?
He is doing a phenomenal job, and I'm just so proud of him. We're so pleased that he and Jennifer chose to live in Tennessee. Senator Hagerty and I were honored to help prep him for his hearing, to work with him through that process, and then to walk with he and his wife and his family to that hearing, and then also to be with them and share that moment with them when he was confirmed by the Senate. And then I was over at the White House the following morning with Pete and Jennifer and their family as he was sworn in and took the oath.
So Doge is a very big topic of conversation, especially when it comes to USAID. And, Senator Marsha Blackburn, earlier this morning, I did play this clip from Ilhan Omar.
We get to decide. We have the power of the purse. We get to decide where money is allocated, and it's the executive's power to make sure that that money gets to where it needs to get.
Senator, I think that if you're ticking off Ilhan Omar, that's probably a good thing.
I so agree with you. But the left is not happy. They want no scrutiny on how U.S. taxpayer dollars are spent, because these bureaucracies like USAID have just built up so many layers of people. And, Dan, they're not even going to work. They are still working remote like they've got COVID. And the whole thing is ridiculous. And some of these programs, as we have dug into this over the years and have tried to hold these programs accountable, what they've tried to do is block what we are doing. And as you know, Secretary Rubio has been a part of our conservatives in the Senate, and he will send us a text, our steering committee, executive committee, which is the group of conservatives in the Senate, and he'll send us a text as they are doing these, making these moves, and to go in and shut down USAID and say, no, you are going to tell us what you're spending this money on. It is entirely appropriate. It is good for the American people. These are actions that we do want to see taken to hold the bureaucracy to account for how they spend the dollars. And Dan, you listen to some of these people that aren't showing up to work, and we're giving them the option to take a buyout and leave federal service. And now we think that a lot of them are actually going to take the buyout because they've moved to other parts of the country.
Yeah.
And they don't want to come back to D.C. So we're saying take your buyout and go, and whatever job you picked up as a side hustle, go to it. But you are no longer going to be paid by the federal government. And by the way, this gives us the opportunity to shed a lot of positions that are not needed, to reposition people into areas where they are needed, like Border Patrol, like VA casework to take care of our veterans, things of that nature. And it will allow us to right-size the federal government. And that's a good thing. It's good for the taxpayer. It is good for our kids and our grandkids because it allows us to get the cost of delivering government services down and to return to what the federal government is supposed to do. Item number one, provide for the common defense.
Senator Marsha Blackburn joining us. You have introduced the Doge Acts to basically what you just said, make federal government more efficient and slash wasteful spending. Do you think this is going to get any support from the other side of the aisle?
Oh, I think that it will. And as your listeners know, my 1, 2, and 5% across the board spending cuts, this is something, even when I was in the state Senate in Tennessee, I was trying to do across the board cuts. You do this because it allows you to trim the fat out of your budget. You should do it every single year. Most companies go through this process. The president did some of this by executive order, but we have to codify it, which is to freeze federal hiring and salaries, to move us to a merit-based employment promotion system so that we have a merit-based government, performance-based, and then to move these federal agencies that are non-national security, non-defense, out of Washington, D.C., and place them across the country.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, one more question. You know what? She dropped on us. Hold on one second. Let me see if she's back. I thought she ended rather abruptly.
Yeah, that didn't sound right.
All right, Senator Marsha Blackburn joining us here again. Very quickly, 2 more questions for you. You can be as brief as you want. You see what's happening in a lot. She dropped again. You know what it is, Joan? She knows I'm going to ask her about the whole Govenor run.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Oh, this is where you were going?
This is where I was going to go.
Reading your mind.
I was going to ask about the gubernatorial run, and clearly the senator is afraid to answer the question. I'm just kidding. No. Whatever.
But maybe her representatives that control the phone lines were like,
"No, man, I had
cut it off right here."
I had another 5 minutes, but whatever, it's fine.
You know how these
there
things
she is
work.
again. Let's hold on.
Yeah.
Shh. Don't say anything else because they. Hold on. Putting her on. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do it, Jeff. I'm gonna do it. All right, Senator, you're back with us. Okay, very good.
Yes, I have no idea cell phones and the wonders thereof. As I don't know where the call dropped.
Oh, it's okay. I've got one major question for you left. So I know you're investigating a gubernatorial run. Where are we at with that? Would you like to make an announcement this morning on Nashville's Morning News?
We are giving it serious consideration. I do have a very busy day job right now as I was just going through the Doge Acts. A lot of this is at the top of President Trump's agenda. We feel like we've got about 18 months to carry out this agenda, and then the focus will go to the states and how they implement that agenda. We've been very encouraged by hundreds of Tennesseans who have said, we'd like to see you do this, and I'm giving it all due and respectful consideration.
All right, Senator, always great to have you on Nashville's Morning News. Thank you very much and appreciate you joining us. We covered a lot of ground, and I share her enthusiasm for Kash Patel. I love Kash Patel, and I did believe that he did a great job in his confirmation hearings. We'll see where that goes. It is 6:51.